To stay informed and engaged, tune into Around South Sudan and be part of the conversation that matters. Subscribe now and join us for the stories that connect us all. Together, let's explore the heart of South Sudan. Welcome to Around South Sudan. You go to podcast for the stories that shape our nation. Each week, we explore the most impactful headlines that are shaping the narrative in South Sudan. We delve into issues related to national development, peace building, politics, culture, and economics. To stay informed and engaged, tune into Around South Sudan and be part of the conversation that matters. Subscribe now and join us for the stories that connect us all. Together, let's explore the heart of South Sudan. Welcome to Around South Sudan. You go to podcast for the stories that shape our nation. Each week, we explore the most impactful headlines that are shaping the narrative in South Sudan. We delve into issues related to national development, peace building, politics, culture, and economics.
Hello, welcome to Around South Sudan podcast with me, Lasuba Memo. The program will explore stories, ideas, and conversations shaping our nation. Today's episode focuses on a subject that touches every community in our country: peace, reconciliation, and the future of coexistence among our people. Now, recently, traditional leaders from the Jeng and Nah, commonly known as the Dinka and Nuer communities, met in Juba under the facilitation of the South Sudan Council of Churches. Now, over 2 days of dialogue, the elders reflected on the root causes of conflict in the country and agreed on important resolutions aimed at strengthening peace and reconciliation at the grassroots level. Now, their communique calls for an end to hostilities, encourages communities to embrace dialogue, forgiveness, and reconciliation, and also urges South Sudanese to reject hate speech and violence. It is also highlights the critical role of traditional leaders, faith institutions, media, and society in promoting unity and healing across our communities. Now, today we are honored to host 4 respected traditional leaders from the Nuer and Dinka communities who participated in and supported this important dialogue. Now, together we will discuss what these resolutions mean for ordinary people, how traditional leadership can help rebuild the trust, and what steps communities can take to move South Sudan toward lasting peace. You can see on the platform is Archbishop Moses Deng Bol. Is a peace envoy and he works at the South Sudan Council of Churches. He's seated right to my face. It's my pleasure hosting you.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
And next to Archbishop Moses is Chakwor Adong Manyang of JCE, and is seated on the left-hand side of Archbishop Moses Deng. And next to Chakwor is Dr. Gabriel Guy Riam, and he's the Secretary General of the Nuer Leadership Peace Forum. My pleasure hosting you. And of course, right next to me is Rachel Nyadak Paul, Secretary for Peace of the Nuer Leadership Peace Forum. It's my pleasure having you too. This forum basically to reflect on the conclusion of the dialogue that was hosted by the South Sudan Council of Churches, bringing the traditional leaders from the 2 communities. And I have just read the escape of what transpired during the discussion for at least 2 days and concluded with resolutions. And I just want, first, before we look at the resolution, recently the country witnessed 2 serious incidents. First, in Ayot, where dozens were killed, and also we had close to, or even other reports suggest 205 people killed in Abianom County in Ruang administrative area. And this has come at a time when the church, together with traditional leaders, are thinking on how to forge the country forward in terms of peace and bring unity. I want to get your reaction with what happened lately. What comes to your mind with this latest incident? Let me start with you, Bishop.
Thank you very much. It is so unfortunate that while community leaders have just met and they really, as you correctly put it, resolved that we should avoid violence or ceasefire, cease hostilities and focus on dialogue among our communities to resolve our differences. Then some people thought that it is the best time now to do the killing that we have seen in Abiemnom and earlier in Ayod. It is just unfortunate that this is still continuing when actually everyone in South Sudan, especially the community leaders, are calling for a dialogue. I also want to just make a small correction. The people sitting here are actually community leaders, but not traditional leaders, because traditional leaders are the chiefs and kings. Right. But the community leaders are the leaders of community associations. Correct. Like as you have put it, JC stand for Jiang, right. Council of Elders, and then Nuer community, they have Nuer Leadership Peace Forum. Mm-hmm. So these are community leaders, but not traditional leaders, because there are traditional leaders who are different from them. Thank you.
Thank you, indeed. And let me also hear from you, Chagwor Adong, your reaction to the latest incident in the country.
Thank you, Iradio, for hosting us. In fact, for the latest development, it's very unfortunate, as was put by Bishop. I want to assure you that peace is not easy. There are a lot of temptations. Peace is like going up to the mountain. When you are going to the mountain, you will meet a lot of difficulties, and even you may fall. But if you insist, you can reach to the top. So these things are attempts by those who want to distract us, but we will not accept. Peace must prevail. It's a process. Those incidents, the government is there, will deal with them, will investigate, and will see those the perpetrators will be brought to the justice. They will be accountable. So it cannot stop us. What we have decided to do, peaceful coexistence of our communities, be it Nuer and Jiang or the whole South Sudan, must go ahead. Thank you.
What are your thoughts, Dr. Gabriel?
Well, of course, the latest incidences that had happened are very disturbing. The country and the church are looking forward to achieving a permanent peace among the communities. And such incidences occurred. Of course, these are unfortunate. And as leaders of the community, we condemn such incidences, and the culpritors should indeed be brought to justice in whatever way possible. Right. Secondly, as we have noted in many situations, that when such things happen, we should not think positively. Our leaders in the two communities and others with the church together, we will continue to move forward to carry out our programs in a way that will bring, we hope, will bring peace to South Sudan in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and Nyarak.
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, I would like to give my heartfelt condolence to the families and the communities that are affected by this terrible incident. It is so disturbing, it is heartbreaking, but it's a process of peace. Peace is not easy. It is expensive, and that's why it's called peace. Because these incidences, in the language of church, we will say that it's devil. Devil is trying to block the way. Devil is fighting the good things that people want to do. So what I can say is that this attempt will be dealt with. And as communities, nothing will silence our voice. We will continue preaching peace. We will continue talking to our communities until we realize peace in the entire South Sudan. So, to me, I think that is first attempt, and by God's grace, maybe they will hear us what we are saying as their leaders and their elders in the community.
Thank you, Nyadak. And this brings me now to ask a question related to the peace dialogue or discussion that brought together religious leaders and also community leaders. And if I may ask you, Archbishop Deng, so what were the main concerns that brought the elders together in Juba for this two-day meeting?
Well, this dialogue that was done recently between the elders of the two communities, the Jiang and the Nuer, actually started back in December last year. This is why I was holding the document here called the Church Initiative for National Healing and Reconciliation, which was developed by the church leaders last year. And basically what this document did was that the church will work alongside other South Sudanese who are working for peace, including the media and the community leaders, the traditional authority leaders, the women group, the civil society. The church will work alongside all these South Sudanese groups to really approach peace process at a three level. One is the sub-national level, which is actually what we have started with the community leaders here. And then the second one is the national level, and the third is the regional or international level for that matter. And when we felt that we really wanted to go now down to the grassroots, to the traditional authority leaders, including chiefs, kings, women, and youth leaders. But we felt that the community leaders here are representative of their people at the grassroots. And we really needed their voices. We needed their support. We also want to go down with them because they are here to represent their people. Some of them, although at this level we are inviting them as community leaders, they are at the same time national leaders. Some of them are members of parliament, others are in government. But because this approach is a sub-national approach, we did not invite them as government officials, because if we did that, we would have invited the political parties. But here we are inviting community leaders. So this is actually where this one started.
Right.
It is since the peace agreement was signed, we have had two challenges. One, the implementation of the agreement itself by the political parties has been lacking behind, as you know. Right. The implementation has been very slow, and especially last year, there has been a lot of violations of the agreement itself. That was one challenge. The other challenge is the subnational violence, where we have intercommunal violence, whether it is fueled by cattle wrestling, cattle headers, headers and farmers conflict, whether it is because of the border issues, the land issues. All this has been going on. And so as a church, we felt that we should actually start at the grassroots. And this is where what inspired the inviting of the two community leaders. We actually, this initiative, as I said in the document of the church here, is targeting the whole of South Sudan. But always, as we say in the NGO world, you say a pilot project.
It's a pilot project.
You want to start something, you don't start in the whole country. You start somewhere where you pilot it, and if it works, then you can expand it
To achieve the bigger
achieve the bigger picture. So what we have started with the Jiang and Nuer elders is actually a project that we want to see reach out to all the South Sudanese communities.
Interesting. And let me come to the participants. Basically, Dr. Gabriel, the communique mentions that elders spoke frankly and briefly during the discussion. So I'm wondering, what were some of the most important issues that came up?
In our cultures, there are ways in which you approach issues. To Nuer and Dinka, they think when you come to resolve a problem, you don't resolve it by making a resolution or resolutions. You always speak out. You always challenge the other group of what they should be doing. And vice versa. So the church has brought these two leaders together to listen to them and the way that they can be able to forge a common direction in which they can resolve the conflict. First, they challenge themselves. The Nuer have raised issues that which they think the Dinka should have done as elders to their communities or to their leadership. And the same thing also to Dinka, they also mention some of the issues.
Do we know some of them?
For example, the question of leadership in the country was raised as if the Dinka did not play a big role in which they can approach the president, for example, that the country is boiling, the country is at war, and you have not been able to advise the leadership. Although the president belongs to all the nation. And also the Dinka and on other parts were also coming in which the violation of the agreement in terms of conflict that has fueled have also pinpoint some of the issues that the Nuer should have done in terms of the current conflict which is happening, in terms of violation of the war that is happening between the communities. Some of the leaders among the Nuer were pointed to be the cause of that conflict. Now, having listened to those ones, then the question came out, then what can we do? If we cannot advise our leaders, if we have not done advising our leaders, what do we do for us to move forward in advising them? I think in the communique, we have pointed out some of the issues. Let us stop war. Let us talk to our communities. Let us see how best we can be able to step in. And the South Sudan Council of Churches, having a track record in the past on how to capture all those issues that have been said by the community, will be able to bring a way in which the leaders and the community at the grassroots should be able to sit down and say, enough. The bones or the coffin that we have seen, we have laid our hands on them, but let us now pray and work for the life of those who are still alive. So this is how I personally feel, and what others think. It was important that the two communities air out their grievances and begin to move forward. It has taken quite a while. They have not come out as a community, I think, since 2013.
Really?
There have been few here and there that were held in Nairobi and here, but that was not inclusive, and it was not the role of the church. Mm-hmm. But we think this time we have the tools to use for us to move forward in achieving peace.
What's your comment, Chawar? Adong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. In fact, we were We were touched by the call of the South Sudan Council of Churches to bring us together, because what they told us is that you are the leaders. At the same time, in one way or another, you are political leaders. Some are in the government, some are in the parliament. And we need your help to support us in this process, because they are going down to grassroots to make peace. So they told us what we want from you is to bless our approach, our initiative. So when you call home your traditional leader or chief, they will ask you, what are those people that are churches leaders coming here telling us peace? You support us. Tell them that this peace is very blue. So we were very appreciative with that initiative. And it is not the first time for the church leaders to do that. They have been doing it. They have been doing it. 1999, only peace was between Nuers and Dinka. You see, it is the church leaders who organized it, and later was supported by the SPLA. Commander Salva by then was there, provided protection, and he opened it in Wuli. Wuli is my area. So that peace paved the way for the two factions, Nasser group and Torit, to come together, because when they see that people are coming together, so why not them? So they agreed, and they joined here, they united 2002, and that is why when they went in for CPA agreement, they were very strong, and they managed to get the right peace, which brought them independence. I think they want to repeat the same, and that's why they said they want to start from the grassroots, and then it will come up. So they mobilize us, you leaders, what are you doing? Why are you silent? You help us with this. So we feel that they are doing very good job for us as a country. And as he said, we told them that if this is, because this country is not only for Nuer or Dinka, other communities should be brought in. They said they are working on that. So what they are doing actually, it is comprehensive one. But as you put it, it is a piloting with these two major communities. If they are calm or they are brought together and they coexist, then nothing will happen for South Sudan. Will be a safe country. As Franklin is speaking, yes, traditionally, when we use our tradition, we sit and you point out, you are doing this as a mistake, and vice versa. And when it is finished, it is resolved, no one will repeat it. This is what we use. And even during those days in 70s, the ships from Upper Nile and the Dinkas, they used to be brought together, and they meet, and then they iron out all their problems, and then it's finished. Irregularities that happen, the government or the law will take care of them. That is how we used to live, side by side. Right. So we need to go back to that way of living. And that's why we are appreciating, because they are starting with our traditionalists, because they are the one directly responsible to the people. You see? So, as he said, they told us, and we told them that all these crises, you are the cause also. Because violation happen always from your areas, and you are silent. And they are telling us, you also, your son is the leader of the country, and you don't talk to him to advise him. So all this is the nature, and this is what we want when we are frank like that.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any
remarks on?
I think our coming together through the church was necessary, because at this time where South Sudan is going through a lot, and the way I look at it, South Sudan need peace more than a war. And I see that we cannot resolve any issue by fighting. Right. We need to embrace peace, we need to preach peace, we need to talk of peace, so that we are able to bring stability and harmony among our people. And if our people are in harmony, and then even the government setup will be in harmony, because the setup of government is comprised of people, and people are coming from home, and home is the community. So if you talk to their fathers and their mothers and their sisters in the community, then the message of peace can be able to reach, the top. So I think it is a very crucial that these two cousins, because Nuer and Dinka, they are cousins. And that's why it is very easy always, they confront each other. It is very easy to fight quickly because they are cousins, you see. They are coming from one mother and one father. So for the South Sudan Council of Churches, calling these two communities through their leaders is very important, because they are the one. Other communities are point fingering to Nuer and Dinka. These people are the one. These people are the one. So it is very important for the church that they started calling these two communities. And if these two communities are in peace, believe me, South Sudan will be at peace. I think it is commendable, and we need to continue doing that.
Right. The conflict in South Sudan has changed its dynamics, and you are talking about how traditional leaders or community leaders played key role in resolving disputes in the past. But in the contemporary time, it appears it has become more complex for traditional leaders. Their roles have kind of been overshadowed by what seems to be, quest for power by individuals, and individuals go behind communities to have communities rally behind them, and now having the roles of community leaders being overshadowed. I'm just wondering if that is really with what you're coming with is likely to bring about change that you're aspiring to do as community leaders in the church. So what are your reactions? Any of you can take on this.
Well, personally, my reaction is on two ways. We look at the past. We know that our traditional leaders, whom we are talking about, they had powers. They had a say of what the people are doing. These have been eroded. It is no longer there. And I think that's why the church and the leaders of the communities are questioning themselves, how do we restore the culture that we had when a leader in the community would say, stop it, and it is stopped. But now it is not stopping. And I think this dialogue, this communal dialogue, would begin to forge and build a consensus in which people will begin to realize that they have lost something and they can begin to look at it. Second, which I say the opposite, is when we have our system in place, let us take, for example, some of us who have seen what had happened in 1972. The system was there. There's no problem of saying this belongs to this Gabila, this belongs to this tribe. It is the system that works. Now, the culture of war has come in. It has overshadowed all that system that worked. It is no longer there. Even if you go to the ministries now, the ministry is called a ministry by name. But the system that works by itself, I don't think you would find it. So this, when we are saying let us go to the grassroots and we support the church, is to make them understand that there's a role to play more than the leadership. And that will send a signal, to the leadership that the people have regained their power. And if they have regained their powers in the grassroots, there will be time they will say, We need the system to exist, and that will give them power in Bahar Ghazal, in Upper Nile, in that, to elect qualified members of parliament, leaders that would come and say, well, we want to own this system, and then they will be accountable to their people. So this is not easy, but we want to resolve one thing, the violence that is happening. We want to stop it.
Yes.
I think your question is a very valid. The dynamic of politics in South Sudan now, this is different, not like before. And indeed, why communities are not like before? We as the intellectual or the politician, we factor in politics in communities. When anything happened to me, I go and mobilize my people. That these people are against me because I am X. This one has actually destroyed or eroded the way our people during those days behave. They have nothing with politics those days. When we were children, there were only SANO and
Southern Front.
Southern Front, and they compete normally, and communities don't involve at all. Two communities, even they were developed, and it is done by us. They are even proposing they want X to be appointed as a minister. They want our son to be a governor. It is something now. During those, nothing. Communities just come and ask for services from their government. Everything, politics is run by the parties, no communities. You see? And that was why it was easy for communities to understand their role, and they resolve their problem there. But nowadays, it is confused. If anything happened to me, I will run to my community. I am done like this, and Mr. Reg is doing this, and it is because I am like this, they are doing this for us. And then the confusion mobilized. And of course, when you see the question of illiteracy very high in the community, they just take that for granted. They don't question again. That's why things are confused nowadays for us. So we are supporting, commending this move, so that they are told, you resume your role. Yours is the members. Anything coming from up there, just analyze first and question it. Because they know nothing. What is happening to you? Do they know anything about it? They don't know. So we need to separate politics and community, bro. Thank you.
Yes, Yana.
Yeah. It is indeed very dynamic, because sometimes you see when war happens, then you may think that these are political parties fighting. But in the process, you will also hear some names from the communities. For example, like White Army, like Gelwing, like Abusho, like Tidwing, like Manyumeji, like Aero Boys and all. You see, they will get themselves in the conflict which does not belong to them. It is for parties fighting, but the community will get involved through their youth. And that's why it is very important for the for the conflict to.
I want to read news text. It's okay. Continue.
Yeah, and that's why it is very important for the leaders or community elders to preach the gospel of peace, so that we separate politics from the community.
Right.
You know, these people, they used to fight over their cattle grazing water point, raiding their own cattle. But it is not alarming. It has been there. And they kill themselves. But at the end, when they want to make peace by themselves, their community leaders will come and bring them together. And they will resolve their issues, they will drink together, they go back to their normal life. But because of this politics, now it's become dynamic. You don't even know who is a community youth, who is the army, and it has mixed up. So it is very important for South Sudan to regain peace. We have to start at the grassroots. It is very important. We talk to our people, we talk to community leaders, they take up their roles, you know, because even now, youths are not respecting their chiefs. If a chief call one of the youth, if he doesn't want to obey the orders of this elderly man, will just walk away and go with his gun, and he will just shoot the gun up, giving signal that I'm not obeying what you are saying. So by themselves, before even conflict, before politics, they have their own issues. And that's why it is very important that we restore peace among the communities, and then the community leaders will gain their powers back. And when politicians come to the community, they will come and sit and discuss their issues, what they want to do, and they will be able to dialogue and advise themselves. But at this current situation, there is nowhere you can find a politician with the community leader sitting and dialoguing. Right. Just everything is being done through the phone, conspiracies, what people are preaching, hate speeches and all this. And it's because the community become vulnerable. Those guys with gun, immediately when they are called by their politician, they just run and support them. They will leave the elderly people at home, you know, and they will have nothing to do because they are vulnerable. These people are powerful, they have guns. So if we bring back the system by preaching peace, our youth accept the peace that is important for their growth and for their development, and then they will also give back the respect to elderly people. We will be able to prosper as a country. Right. Even the conflict will, you know, will reduce, because they will have no massive support. They will be just themselves as parties, as armies, you know. It is not going to really affect the whole country.
Thank you indeed.
If we control ourselves.
Yes, and hate speech and stereotypes were highlighted as major concerns. And how serious is this problem today, especially with social media, Archbishop?
Well, it is really a very serious issue, Lasso, because if you look at the social media today, it is really fueling the intercommunal violence, especially at the grassroots, the intercommunal conflict that you see, and especially from our brothers and sisters outside. As a church, we might actually need, together with our community leaders, we might even, some of the traditional authority leaders, we might need to take some of them to meet with our brothers in the diaspora, our brothers and sisters. It is really fueling conflict so much, and this issue of insulting people, calling people names, issuing some stereotypes, abusive language, they are not good. And then sometimes, especially among the Dinka themselves, and I believe also among the Nuer on their own, the traditional songs that we are the one who shares them, we used to defeat them, we used to kill them. You know, those ones, everything has its time. Right. The time for that is gone. I think it was mentioned earlier by some of these leaders here that there are things that we might leave behind as a people of South Sudan. We were not a country. We were not a one nation. Previously, we were communities, but now we are a nation. So we must work for a nation building where we speak with honoring one another, and especially with as Christians. There is a very powerful fundamental principles in the Bible that in Genesis chapter 1 verse 26-27 it says all human beings are created in the image of God, male and female. And it doesn't say from which tribe. It doesn't even say from which race. So regardless of your color, of your gender, we are all made in the image of God, which means we are all equal. And that principle should really remove this hate speech from us, where we call ourselves names that are not supposed to be used.
Right. And let me come to you, Chawor. I don't find it difficult to pronounce that, but
Chawor.
Yes, but you have to
it's
excuse me.
Chawor.
So Let me ask you, three of you, one question. So what concrete steps should be taken next after this meeting you had?
Yes, after this meeting, we have a plan as community leaders to have our own meeting, to meet ourselves, so that we revise what we have agreed and we continue talking about how to bring peace. At the same time, we have always to engage with the church leaders, those who hosted us, to continue the same, and then with the community leaders if they are going down there to grassroots. So we need to engage ourselves. We talk to our community leaders down there to accept what they need to, the church is leading among them, so that they come to peace. Coexistence is important. We must live in peace. Because this chaos in South Sudan, people are fighting, communities are fighting, either here and there, is meaningless. And it's taking us nowhere. And it is against the principle that we fought to liberate ourselves. Because these people who are dying are the asset of this land. If they are killed, who is going to remain with the land? So we must continuously talking among ourselves, talking to our communities down, as well as our church leaders to continue with that job. Even if they need us, we are ready to intervene or to come to support them. Peace must be there. We have to forget, because if we continue fighting, revenge will take us nowhere. Will take us nowhere at all. And we say to ourselves in our meeting, so this is what we can do. It is to continue engaging ourselves. This is very paramount.
Yes, Dr. Gabriel, maybe you will say something, but also I would want you to add to this question that I'm about to ask. We understand quite well that the churches have really tried their best to bring the parties together to resolve the conflict in the country. But, and even on the side of the political parties having dialogue, or nothing has come out tangibly to the citizens that there is really peace in the country. And how can the church and community leaders work alongside the government, civil society, to bring about peace?
Yeah, let me pick up together with this from my colleague here. You see, the concrete step that we think should help us to move together with the church is already embodied in our communique. And that communique will be disseminated by the community leaders and the church. We will not leave it to the church alone. Each community will be able to contact their own communities. We have already made two or one step. One step, we have formed a committee of 10 people, 5 from each group, which will work alongside the South Sudan Council of Churches. I think that is a step that will make us to move together. Second, this committee will also regularly be meeting, on purpose of which will be to evaluate and see how best they can move forward. The second part is the churches have tried. They have tried to convince and talk to our leaders, but nothing has happened. And I think this is very frustrating. But of course the church will not give up, and the community leader will not give up. I think that's why we are saying, let us try all avenues. We have tried the high level, it didn't work. But at the local level, when we work together and jointly, we come up with programs, it may impact the leadership at the higher level. See what, look, they understood what we are doing.
Bottom-up approach.
You see, the bottom-up approach. This grassroots approach will make us, make these people listen to us, our leaders. And we feel that once the Dinka and the Nuer move together to all those localities, other people would think, well, they would say, well, you know, they have understood what we were doing. If we don't join them, then we will be in problems. So we think we'll also impact our leaders for them to listen to the church approach and the community leaders.
Right. Nyarak, maybe in a minute or two.
Yeah. You know, as it has been said by the last speaker, that the committee has been formed, and this committee, we will sit and we will add more effort. For example, this communique is not meant for us as leaders. It is meant for everyone who is involved, or all the areas that are involved in conflict. We'll go to grassroots by our own ways. We preach peace through our leaders, the chief, the elders, the women, the youth. We will preach peace to them. After we meet, we have to agree we speak one language, you know, the language that will bring our people back together. And that's why it is very important for us as elders to always meet and think together, come up with new strategies. Because remember, peace is not easy. You know, when the enemies of peace sees you forging a right direction, they might even, you know, come with another strategy that can spoil the peace, like what had happened now in Abiemnom and Ayot County, you see. But if we always meet together as committee plus the church, every time reviewing the strategies, forging the new ways of approaching our communities, the message will reach. The message will reach people, but we have to speak one language, and we have to change our heart as leaders that, okay, this is what we accepted, and we have to move by it, whatever it takes. We will also see how we can meet our leaders, top leaders, the political leaders, as communities, not even church alone, as communities. Also they hear the views of our grassroots through us. We'll give them messages that come from the grassroots, that this is what our people requires of you as our leaders. And by doing that, they will understand. Because they are part of the community, they will know that, okay, our people now have come to realization of peace, and we must bring peace on the table for the welfare of everybody.
Right. You want to say something?
Yes. I want to say on the question that you have asked earlier about the political parties have tried, church leaders also have tried to initiate dialogue among the political parties, but it seemed like it's not bringing tangible results. This is not the first time church leaders have tried. Honorable Chagwar Adong mentioned earlier what used to be called people-to-people peace process in the 1990s, culminating into the Nuer Young Elders Peace Conference in Unlit, which is well documented. If you go on the social media, you can find it there on the internet. Now, the way it started, it was when the SPLA split in 1991. The church leaders, under the auspices of the new Sudan Council of Churches by that time, our fathers in the Lord, Bishop Paridi Taban and Bishop Nathaniel Garang, Alo Eramu, who have just recently, and then the Secretary General by then is Dr. Arun Rundwal, who is now a member of Council of States. They tried to approach the two leaders, Dr. John Garang of Torit faction and then Dr. Riek of Nasser faction, but they did not succeed. So what they decided to do was to go to the community leaders at the grassroots. During those days, there were no clear structures of community leadership at the national level like the way we have today. So when they went dealing with the chiefs, women, and youth at the grassroots, and indeed when they agreed in UNLID in 1999, it took them only 2 years for the two leaders to come together, because there was also a pressure coming from community leaders at the grassroots to say, for us to have a better future as people of South Sudan, you better find a way to reconcile among yourselves. Those messages were coming from community leaders through political leaders that are in the middle. Some of them are generals in the army, and they were able to convey those messages to the two leaders. When they came together, of course, as it was very well articulated by Honorable Chagwar, it brought strength to the people of South Sudan, and that is why they were able to negotiate CPA in a very strong position. Last year, the same thing. Church leaders went to the two leaders, President Kiir and Dr. Yek. They tried to bring them together, but actually they were willing. I can say with confidence, the two were very willing to dialogue. But there are people, maybe my sister called them the people sent by the devil. There are people who don't want peace. I don't know for what reason, because it doesn't matter how many people you killed. Honestly, what is the benefit out of killing so many people? But those people tried their best to make sure that that dialogue doesn't take place. And so, as church leaders, we came back, and now we actually returned to our original approach. Let's go to the people. Let the people talk to their sons. As it was mentioned earlier, of course you can be a national leader here, but there is a place where you were born. You have your uncle, you have your father, you have your auntie, you have your grandmother. These people are respected at the grassroots. It doesn't matter how educated you are, how powerful you are, you must listen to these people. So if these people know what message they should communicate to their sons and daughters at the national level, we believe that they will be able to convince them so that they can accept dialogue. We are not saying we force them to do anything out of their wish, but we know if they sit together and talk, they will find a solution. You cannot find a solution without talking. Correct. Solution always come from when you are engaging. Even if you disagree today and you come back tomorrow, you will find that there will be a way in which you can be able to build consensus. Thank you.
Right. Maybe last question. I know we're pressured by time. And, so what should a peaceful and united South Sudan look like? Just imagining you achieving your dream, the bigger picture you want to arrive at. You're yet at the piloting stage. Mm-hmm. And the second question to each of you is, what message would you like to send to the people of South Sudan who may feel tired and hopeless about the lack of peace in the country? Let me start with you, Nyadat.
Yes, my message would be that what to say to people of South Sudan, that peace is possible. Peace can be achieved. The only thing that we need as people of South Sudan, we need the political will. We need political will from our leaders to give peace a chance, to listen to their people, to listen to themselves, to recall back where they have come from and where they are now, to remember themselves how many things that they have achieved together, and why not this. I am one of people who believe that a peace that is made by ourselves as people of this country is better than peace that we bring from outside. And I know it is possible that we can make it ourselves here from our home, and it can succeed. Because remember, if our son did not take guns to fight for slavery and oppression, of the Sudan regime, we would have not been here today. But it was them themselves, those who are now the top leaders, who fought bitterly to deliver us from slavery. And it was not an easy road. But what happened now? Why are they not remembering this? I want to say to our leaders outside there that you remember what you did. Remember your people. We are the same people whom you fought for to be delivered. We are still there, and we still have hope that you will build a better South Sudan to us as people of South Sudan. I have a desire for South Sudan because I know this country is beautiful. And if we sit down today, put our heart together and our mind, talking of peace, we will build a country which will be far better than America and UK and Germany and any other countries, leave alone Africa, because this country is blessed. It is in the Bible. It's called Cush, land of Cush. It is a country that has been blessed like Israel in the Bible. So I'm optimistic that peace will come.
Thank you.
I want to tell our people peace is possible.
Thank you. Yes, yeah.
Yes, I think I have two last comments. One is appealing to our leaders that peace is better than war. And we can say enough is enough. We appeal to them to recommit themselves to a genuine and inclusive dialogue to resolve the problem. To the entire community, our communities in South Sudan, we will say having peace is what makes you to become prosperous. Forgiveness is better than turning away from one another. Since we begin from the church, and the church is telling us how good it is for them to become in unities. I refer them to Psalm 133 that would give them hope for the next years to come. And may God bless them.
Thank you so much.
My message is of truth I want for the leaders and for the public. For the leaders is that what we are doing as our leaders is something good for all of us. And you are leaders because of your people. So we need to encourage you also to soften your heart so that we have peace among ourselves and so that you have a dialogue among ourselves. Talking is very important. In a house that people talk, nothing go wrong. And in a house that people keep silent, everything will be a doom. So, as the leaders of the parties, leaders in the government, you talk among yourself, thrash out all the differences and bitterness. We will get solution. For the public, for my people of South Sudan, what we have studied, which was actually hosted or initiated by our church leaders, we have appreciated it and we are with them. Coexistence, to live in peace, is very important. We are getting nothing in this fighting. Let's sit and talk. If I have wronged you, point it out, and vice versa, and we'll get solution. And we'll be good people when we have peace and coexistence. Thank you.
Thank you indeed.
Well, to how the peaceful South Sudan look like, to me is that I can travel from Numuli to Rang and from Nadefal to Raja without anybody asking me or stopping me not to do anything. I can do business anywhere. That is the South Sudan we are envisioning. And the South Sudan we believe we are going to achieve is that you, Lasso, you are free to do any business anywhere in any part of South Sudan as a citizen. The message that we want to share with our people, whether it is the communities, our political leaders, is that as a church we are committed to facilitating dialogue among them. Especially if we are very encouraged if they appreciate, like we have seen with the community leaders, they felt that the church did the right thing by inviting them and facilitating a dialogue among themselves. We wish the community leaders and the political leaders did the same. We are committed to do that, and we are not going to give up. Even if we are disappointed, if they did not come, did not turn up, we would have reach out to other community leaders in another way. So we are not going to give up. That is one thing I can assure you. Secondly, we are appealing to all of them to really cease fire, stop hostilities, whether it is the community arms group or a political arms group. We are appealing for a ceasefire, and we are calling also for stopping the hate speech. And then we are calling for embracing dialogue at all levels of the people of South Sudan, whether it is at the national, at the grassroots. And one thing that came out last week in this dialogue is that peace will come from us. It will not come from outside. We have already tried. We have tried at the regional level, at the international level. We have toured almost the neighboring capitals. Many of them. We have gone to Addis Ababa, Khartoum, Nairobi, Kampala, and we have not been able to achieve peace. So the peace that will come is the peace that will come from us. And somebody said a successful peace must be locally owned and externally supported. So our neighbors will only support us, but it must be us to take the lead. Thank you.
Archbishop Moses Dengbol, Peace Envoy at the South Sudan Council of Churches, thank you for your time and the insight in this particular discussion, and to the church for taking up this initiative to discuss matters that are affecting this country by bringing together, community leaders to resolve those issues and navigate on how to bring about peace at the grassroots levels. And of course, we can't forget your efforts as community leaders coming out and speaking to your people on what you want them to achieve. I can't forget to remember you, Chagor Adong Manyang, for having come to this show and giving this insight, and Dr. Gabriel Gairiam, Secretary General of the Nuer Leadership Peace Forum, for also your time and frankliness to discuss matters that are affecting communities across the South Sudan. And of course, Nyadak, Paul, it's also my pleasure having a representation from the women's side. This is important. We talk about inclusivity, but men have always continued to be in like numbers. We wish to have brought two of you, but next time we will still have one more lady, a woman, to be discussing matters, as women are the most affected in this conflict in the country. Otherwise, I do appreciate your coming to this, and you will have to excuse us for having notified you late, and I'll actually consume your time. I know you have got some other duties, but you took your time to come and discuss matters that are important to this country. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
And dear viewer, thank you for having stayed glued to this particular broadcast. We look forward to continue discussing this matter. I've not had chance to be reading your comments here, but thank you. We'll be responding to each of your comments on the social media platform. Let's have another edition of the same next week on Friday. From me to you, have a blessed weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to Around South Sudan. You go to podcast for the stories that shape our nation. Each week we explore the most impactful headlines that are shaping the narrative in South Sudan. We delve into issues related to national development, peace building, politics, culture and economics. To stay informed and engaged, tune into Around South Sudan and be part of the conversation that matters. Subscribe now and join us for the stories that connect us all. Together, let's explore the heart of South Sudan. Welcome to Around South Sudan. You go to podcast for the stories that shape our nation.